evening, morning, afternoon, everyone. This is Internet personality Eddie Phoenix, welcoming you all to Z Gaming Booth. Joining me this
Internet
week,
personality, even.
Personality.
shush you. Joining me this week is...
Everybody.
Pretty much everybody.
Yep.
We.
So,
Adam and Marky and Bulba and Eddie.
Oh my.
Yay.
so, just to start out, Marky, what was your week in gaming like?
Star Wars: The Old Republic because Jin got me hooked on it, and it's all his fault.
That sounds about right.
And the occasional Walking Dead, and the occasional stupid cell phone game, but mostly Star Wars: The Old Republic, and it's really stupidly addicting. It's free to play now, so it's really really fun. And I really enjoy it, which is like yay. But the only sucky part is that everyone that would normally play games with me is either burnt out on it, doesn't want to play the free-to-play version, and they don't want to pay for the $15 because you can still get a subscription to get more features, or they're just like, my computer won't run it. And I'm like, but it's so much fun. Upgrade computer, do it.
I fit in two of those three categories.
My computer would melt.
You should still come play because you should.
Okay, well,
Because Adam was going to interrupt. You don't get to. Boba, what'd you do this week?
wow.
I played a little bit of Soul Blazer. I played a little bit of Minecraft, and I played 3 hours worth of Fire Emblem.
Soul Blazer, what is that? I'm not familiar.
It's an action RPG for the Super Nintendo. I am
Oh.
working on my very first playthrough and considering LPing it. So
I have to
essentially,
go
work,
look at this now.
and I'm tired and weak, and screw you guys.
I have to go look at Soul Blazer now. I will see what that's all about. Aha. So I guess that means I'm going next.
Yes, Adam, what was your week in gaming like?
Well, I beat The Walking Dead 400 Days. I also beat Deadlight. And I also beat Shadowrun Returns. I had a lot of games this week. Mostly the first two was just kind of me wrapping up. But Shadowrun Returns was one that I really tried to blow through. They were all super fun. Walking Dead 400 Days was short, but had some good info. And was a good time. Deadlight was very much like Shadow Complex, which was another arcade game for the Xbox 360. It's kind of 2D, 3D, side-scrollery fun times, mostly platforming stuff. And it was good. It's all about zombie apocalypse in 1960s Seattle, which is topical since I'm moving there sometime next year.
You're moving to 1950 Seattle?
Yes, I am moving into 1960s Seattle. I am both traveling and time traveling. It's a very complicated process. And Shadowrun Returns was a super fun game. It was not as long as I wanted it to be, but it's actually kind of episodic in the way it's done. I'm going to be writing a review on it shortly, but it comes with the main campaign. Costs about $15 on Steam, and it is adapted from the Shadowrun tabletop game, which is pretty old school, and a lot of people play it and like it, including me. And it was a good time. It probably lasted me about 12, 14 hours just for the main game, and then later on you can actually download people's custom-built missions and campaigns, and they'll be releasing more campaigns for the game itself over time. So, pretty cool. And that's what I played. So, Eddie, what did you play?
Well, I played a little bit of League early in the week. I decided to, for some reason, get the itch to play Batman Arkham City, which, of course, as always, is an amazing game to pick up and play.
Like you need an excuse to play Batman.
Exactly. And just recently decided to play a little bit of Fire Emblem for the Game Boy Advance.
We
Wait,
know why he's
original,
doing
like-
that.
The first Fire Emblem for the Game Boy Advance?
Yes.
Oh, so good.
He's going to be playing right beside me Monday when I stream the game yet again for my Monday stream.
When you stream the
it's
game,
so good.
yeah, when you stream the game for Monday, I'm gonna be trying to play at your pace and just to see if I can beat the chapters faster or if you can beat it faster than I can.
Yep,
But-
fun times.
Yes, fun times indeed. So, starting off tonight, we are discussing the big controversy that came out I think it was this past week or last week. Fez creator Phil Fish has decided to quit making Fez 2 because of Twitter criticism, and he also came out and told a critic to quote-unquote kill himself and tried to pass it off as a quote from Futurama. Now,
Yeah, he did. He did do a
No.
lot of those things.
yes, now, the thing here is, for one, if you're quitting making something that you are very passionate about because you can't handle trolls on the internet, then ignore the trolls or ignore the critics and just do what the hell you want to do.
Well, okay, I'm gonna take a step back here and go on the other side of this.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that telling somebody to just ignore it is good and all until you're the person who's on the receiving end. Phil Fish is known in the community as kind of a douche. He's got very strong opinions, and often they are opinions that people are not happy about. And the amount of criticism that a game developer faces, especially, here's the big thing about Phil Fish, is that Fez was just him. Literally just him.
Yes.
When somebody tells you your game sucks balls, they're literally saying, that thing you spent 5 years making, way to waste your time. That is way different than saying, Call of Duty sucks, your team of hundreds of people suck. That's a very different ballpark when it comes to independent developers. I think that he has a right to be mad. I don't think that pulling your game because you're upset is the right move, and it's kind of childish.
Yeah, because one person said so.
Yeah.
It's not because one person said something. It's because like hundreds of people said things. It builds up eventually. I understand why he got mad, but I don't think that his reaction was appropriate, especially if he wants to continue being a game developer, which it sounds like he might not.
Yes. Now, and also, I want to take the other stance that you have there, and instead of like listening to those people who were like, your game sucks, what about those people who are like, hey man, that game was great. I enjoyed playing it. Spent a lot of time into it. Hey, when can I see a sequel of that, or another version, or something along those lines like that?
Yeah.
Never.
You have those. You have that vocal fan base on each side. So.
Yeah. For sure.
It's like, who are you gonna want to listen to more? The more negative side or the more positive side? And that's where it gets really topsy turvy.
Well,
And-
when you also have your own personal issues, it's hard to separate that sometimes, and sometimes you just get mad. I mean, people can get irrationally mad about anything, and when you are facing more criticism, than you are facing, when you're facing more negativity than positivity, it's easy to get overwhelmed by that and just get upset.
I thought there was a lot of praise for Fez, or am I just not paying enough attention?
There was a lot of praise for Fez. The problem is that there's a lot of praise for Fez, but there's also a lot of people who poke Phil Fish just to poke Phil Fish because he's known as a douche. The internet is full of trolls. They like to push buttons, and people really like to push Phil Fish's buttons because he will respond. And in this case, he responded in a way that people are like, "Lol, you're dumb." I've heard a lot about this recently from other podcasts and other news sources, and everyone kind of seems to be down that line of well, listen to your positivity, not your negativity. And, well, there's a lot of negativity, and he did still kind of look like a douche, but it's understandable. Those seem to be the two lines that everyone is just about taking, so.
Yeah. And see, like, it's understandable to also want to listen to if you're going to listen to criticism, listen to the valid criticism. The things where it's like, hey, there could be things that could be done better. Like, you could improve this, you could change up that. And
or
I
was going to say, or what you could do, and Marky will like this, is you can let the hate flow through you and use it to make an even better game.
Yes!
Fez 2, The Dark World.
Yeah, Fez 2, Darkness and Murder. I don't know. I'll be perfectly honest with you, I didn't actually play the first Fez anyways, so I don't have a vested interest here. I'm really just talking about Phil Fish at this point.
Good. Let the hate flow.
Yes, exactly. No. I think hate can be a perfectly good place to build a game from. All gamers must die, Fez edition. It sounds great. I'd play it.
I might, just because it's just like you get to go around and go, nah, you guys all suck.
It's literally just the adorable little character from Fez running around and murdering people with blocks. Sounds like a great game. I'd absolutely play it. Anyway.
Each level is based off of a different game fan base.
There you go.
Now, speaking of game fan bases.
Oh, God.
Everyone remembers the big hubbubaloo during E3.
Hubbubaloo? Really?
Hubbubaloo, hubbub.
Hey, boo-boo.
Everyone remembers the big...
Get a load of this Xbox One.
Yes. Everyone remembers the Xbone and its big old conference of, oh my god, why?
And what about its oh my god, why press conference?
Because of the May thing, the Xbox people have decided to take a step back again and allow self-publishing from indie developers and external recording via, let me make sure I have this, support the external video capturing.
Gotcha.
So now you can have the high bandwidth digital connection, digital rights management system thing usable. You just won't be able to capture all video content from the console. Thanks to Phil Spencer, but he has stated that using a stream that supports HDCP encryption as an example of a case where it won't be possible.
Huh.
And if all you care about is getting gameplay, you're fine.
That's fair.
So
that doesn't sound bad.
So for those people who had their big gaming rig things set up for streaming and everything, they get to still not have to regret dropping that big $500 or more stream setup.
Yeah.
Because I don't know exactly how much it is for streaming equipment right offhand, but having all that money dropped, now it doesn't seem like as steep of an investment now that you can actually still use your phone to record.
And here's the thing, is it's great for Microsoft and Nintendo both to capitalize, or Microsoft and Sony, rather, to really capitalize on this. Considering what Nintendo's been doing lately with their streaming stuff, they have been super shitty for the last year or two about copyright and claiming and videos of any of their content on YouTube and just any of that stuff. They've been horrible about it, and it's really kind of a pain in the ass. And I think
essentially attacking their own fan base. It's like, okay, you really want to end your company's existence.
And that's the thing, is they're still not running with they don't feel like they're running with the internet age so much, they're kind of fighting people who want to give their games popularity by making the popularity of their brand, hey, we're kind of douches. And I don't think that's a good idea. But at the same time, I guess they can do what they want because they're Nintendo, and that'll work for now. Like, that's... I don't really know what else they can do, per se, that would make it any worse. But back to Microsoft.
Well, I can think of something they could do that would make it worse.
Well,
Just
that's-
real quickly, because
Yeah.
I want to also throw that out there. Like the other day when they released Earthbound, it was
Uh-huh.
just like, oh yeah, here's Earthbound. It wasn't. There was like no big hype, no big to do about it, nothing. It was just
That's
oh,
because it's
here
an
it
old
is.
game. I don't think they really care. They're just like, hey, it's an old game, yay.
It's like people were clamoring for it. It's like we want
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
And it's
for
like,
sure.
oh yeah, it's coming. And it's like, oh yeah, now it's out.
It's here. Yeah, it's here. Well,
Ta-da!
Nintendo is notoriously kind of bad at marketing, especially in the U.S.
Yeah.
But going back to Microsoft, anyways, that was totally the whole point
Yeah.
of this conversation to begin with.
Sorry, we just
I
gotta
think
get
that-
off on a
Was it?
tangent.
Yeah, we totally went off a tangent on Nintendo there. I think that Microsoft has a good thing there. They realize that some people stream now. I mean, they stream League of Legends, they stream Minecraft, they stream Dota, they stream all their different games, Call of Duty, Halo, etc., etc. They stream a lot of stuff because that's just kind of where things are going. A lot of gamers like to do that, and streaming communities are getting pretty big. And streaming back in with even like emulators and stuff like that, and older consoles, which are always fun setups, and shows like Game Grumps, for example, is good stuff for capturing content for even video reviews. So the fact that they're actually making that just a built-in function of their console is a great idea for them, and it really all it does is help increase their online presence of their games, while also assisting their user base at doing something they enjoy. So, compared to their PR move of horribleness with the whole Xbox One E3 conference that everyone goes on about, I think it's a really good move
So
because they have to salvage that somehow.
So my whole thing with it is that some of the stuff that Microsoft is trying to bring stuff back about and quote unquote fix is that how do we know that some of the stuff that everyone says they're fixing wasn't originally in the plan, but they didn't fully announce? Because when you do something like this, you don't want to show your full hand right away, because then you end up not having anything to kind of counter something big that Sony or Nintendo may announce later when it gets closer to announcing like the launch date, for example. Because they're not just going to be like, oh, by the way, guys, we're releasing on like November 15th. See you then. No, they're going to make a big thing about it, and they're going to talk about more games that'll be coming out and more free features. But even though they don't show their full hand and they kind of keep a lot of it under wraps, now they're kind of trying to, kiss ass to everyone that they lost, which they need to do. I'll be honest, because they really, really effed up. Like, I was going to buy an Xbox regardless because there's titles on it that I will only get on the Xbox. So I had already made that decision and was eventually going to end up getting a PS4 anyway.
Yeah.
But now that things have changed, it's like, okay, this is an even better deal for me.
Yeah.
But they do have a lot of kissing up to do. And it's just that a lot of people are going, oh, this is all just to make us happy. No, some of it's probably stuff that they didn't say originally because they were keeping it held back. But now that they've realized that they've seriously screwed up, they're going to be like, okay, well, here's our peace offering. This is another thing that's coming out with it. And this is another thing. And this is something that we fixed. Like, that's what they're trying to do right now. But you
That's
can't
fair.
just assume it's all ass kissing. Some of it is stuff that they had planned to talk about.
Well, and regardless of whether it is all ass kicking or if it's ass kissing, ass kicking, regardless of whether
Asking
it's
from
ass,
us.
yeah, exactly. Regardless of whether it's ass kissing or not, it doesn't really matter what their intentions were. All that really matters is how the public perceives it. And if the public perceives it as, hey, you guys are making up to us, then okay. there's really nothing you can do about that unless Microsoft comes out and tells us that this is all part of the plan. Anyway, I'm really not that concerned about it because all that matters is it's there. I mean, whether it was, I got my fill of trying to defend Microsoft about the Xbox when the E3 conference happened. And I really just at the point where, hey, look, it's a cool thing that makes the Xbox not as unhappy, makes people not as unhappy with the Xbox One. Yay! That's
Alright,
kind of where I'm at this point.
So, I want to also talk about the other side of the coin in this topic, the indie developer bit, because
Okay.
back in May, Microsoft said that indie developers would have to obtain a publishing deal from Microsoft or a third party to release their games through the Xbox Live service.
Yep.
Now they've come out and said that, hey, you can just be self-published on
Yep.
the Xbox Live.
Yep.
So, what do you guys want to make of that?
That
I
was
think,
a smart move.
yeah, that's considering what Sony did with the PS4, talking about their indie stuff, and the fact that basically everyone said, well, Microsoft's not getting any indie games this generation. They had to do that. They had no choice. If they wanted to have the next Minecraft or the next other big game, they had to open up that platform. They really had absolutely no choice otherwise. And words. I'm trying to think of my point in the topic now. I think that when it comes down to self-publishing, it makes things a lot more attractive to indies because they don't necessarily like to be under the thumb of an evil overlord. The evil overlord in this case being Microsoft,
Or
And-
another third-party developer.
or another third-party developer with Activision, EA.
Yeah.
The other
Don't you know, Adam, that Activision and EA are indie?
I know, right? The big thing, the only other big thing that I've heard that indie developers really hate, for example, that people like Phil Fish, to go back to that topic, there were a lot of mistakes with Fez, like bugs with Fez, that needed to be fixed. That Phil Fish just said, "I'm not going to fix these," because in order to push out a patch, he had to pay Microsoft $35,000. Because the use of their servers to push all that data was going to cost him that amount of money. And I think that is another thing that needs to. I for some reason I remember that somebody actually did talk about them removing that paid update system, but I forget. I'd have to go back and look. but
I know that. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if that hasn't been addressed, it needs to be addressed. And I mean, if they can really bring the indie devs around to continue to work with their platform and continue to make that happen, I think that will be great for them. And they really have to do it. They don't really have a choice because indie is a big segment right now, and people are really into the word indie. It's a popular thing now, which is hilarious considering what indie usually is.
Dun, 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 dun.
No. I'm more. I was equating indie and hipsters and things like that. But well done. Microsoft
Yes.
comes out with a whip crack. Yeah. Anyway, I think that they have to do it. They have no choice. If you shut out the indie devs, you are missing such a huge segment of the gaming market that's just growing as more people get interested in creating their own games.
And not only
You
that,
have-
and not only that, but also like for indie devs to where the money goes directly to to those said indie devs,
Yeah.
it makes it all the more worthwhile for them.
Yeah. It really does, and it's a really big deal for them to get that done, just because they don't have they need to have that small stuff, the indie stuff, I think, between their big game releases. Otherwise, people kind of get bored. I know I do.
That's understandable too, because I mean, it's like, but then again, there's also between those big game releases for some of those who aren't able to afford whenever those, you have not only the small releases, but you also have the backlog of big releases. You can just go back, I haven't picked that up yet or ever. I want to pick this up and play this now.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Also, the nice free live games is always good.
Yeah. This month it's Crackdown.
Crackdown and
and
Terrorizer too,
yeah.
which excites me because I love both of those games.
Okay, so for a sequel topic, Super Smash Brothers will not have a story mode because, and I quote from the story, the Sakurai has said that the movie's scenes we worked hard on to create were uploaded onto the internet. You can only truly wow a player the first time he sees a cutscene. I felt if the player saw the cutscenes outside of the game, they would no longer serve as rewards for playing the game, so I've decided against having them.
Wait. Those cutscenes were a reward? What the crap?
Okay. I have to say this. You could have just replaced that entire headline with Nintendo takes single-player campaign out of Super Smash Brothers because Nintendo is dumb.
Right.
The idea that you use the excuse that you're taking cutscenes out of the game and a whole campaign mode out of the game because you think that people are going to go stare at the cutscenes on YouTube before they actually get and play the game is pitiful. It's not the real reason, and I think it's stupid that they're trying to pass it off that way. It does not feel like the real reason to me at all. And considering their other PR moves and issues, like the whole almost pulling Super Smash at EVO and then not pulling it and the YouTube stuff, Nintendo is really just generating a giant PR shithole.
Now see, for me, I'm saying that little PR thing at EVO, that was a total thing just to make it to where they could get the most views ever.
I don't even think that's it. I don't think that's what Nintendo's interested in. The problem that Nintendo has is that they're still a Japanese operated company, and they have different ideas of consuming content at times in Japan than Americans do, or just the West in general, Americans, Canadians, etc. And I feel like they are doing something very stupid, and it's going to make Western gamers very annoyed, simply for the fact that when I played Smash Melee and whatnot, I loved that campaign. I thought it was super fun. I enjoyed being able to unlock the characters. I enjoyed getting to see the fun cutscenes with all the crossover and stuff because, that's awesome. And I mean, where else are you going to see, Snake and Fox and Lucario and Pikachu and stuff like that in your similar cutscenes?
Yeah,
Or
and
in the same cutscene rather.
Let's be honest, because I see a lot of news sources that report on this, and a lot of people who reviewed a lot of major sources that reviewed the original that reviewed Brawl. Let's be completely honest. Subspace Emissary was not that great.
Yeah.
It was essentially a mode to quickly unlock characters.
Yeah.
It was not. If that was a game by itself, I would not buy it.
That's fair.
Subspace Emissary really wasn't that great. I actually wanted them to actually cut down on that kind of story mode anyway. I wanted an adventure mode that was similar to Melee's, that was more quick and to the point, but just allowed you to unlock characters quicker.
That's fair.
Yeah, and I mean,
I was totally a fan of the campaign. I loved it.
Same here.
I, for me, I have to take Bulbasaur on this one. I could have
Whoa! Did you just call
cared
him the-
less about the Subspace Emissary because it's just like it was a thing,
Yeah,
and it was because I'm more or
that's
less
fine.
enjoying the arcade, like how
Nope.
we played in the
Nobody's gonna
original.
judge you for that, but
Yes.
I'm gonna
I will.
say
I will say the one good thing that Brawl brought. I'd like to see him bring back would be a boss rush. I did enjoy the boss rush mode.
Yeah,
that's fair. I mean, my thing is that some gamers do enjoy having the story mode. For example, I love the story mode in games like Street Fighter or BlazBlue or things like that. While it's still an arcade mode, there is still a story there, and I'm totally down with that. I don't like just when I don't have friends near me that play Super Smash or any games like that, playing Super Smash for just the fighting becomes playing against bots all the time. And that's not fun. With no story and just constantly playing against bots, that's not fun for me.
That was actually, I think, one of the things I remember when Nintendo Power reviewed Brawl. I highly disagreed with the review. They gave Brawl a perfect score, and I think Brawl really made the mistake that they delayed the game, but when the game was released, the online multiplayer was crap. They put more time into all the little side stuff that honestly nobody is really going to be trying to get all the stickers or all that crap. They put basically side stuff that nobody cares about. They put more time into that than actually what they need to put into, which was the online multiplayer. And hopefully it's something they fix in the next iteration.
yeah. I was actually getting ready to mention that, Bulba, the whole online particularity thingy of it, and it was just that rubbed me the wrong way, and it's just like because then
Well,
I remember. Oh,
I think it kind of rubs everyone the wrong way that we're fans of that. Like, that game came out really when, like, God, I don't even remember what year it was, but I remember playing it through,
2008.
like,
2008.
Yeah.
I got a Wii just to play Brawl, and
yeah, because I
I got
played it.
Brawl and Mario Kart Wii right after the other, and Mario Kart Wii smashed Brawl in the online play.
But I remember playing it, like, right after high school, constantly with friends, and it was a thing that it was fun to play, and we're like, oh, okay, so we'll check out this, we get to fight each other thing, but it was like, oh, there's a bunch of stuff that's not unlocked. Okay, so let's have a ton of fun and play through the campaign and unlock all this shit. Like, that was part of the experience. And I'm
I'm sorry. That didn't
I'm
happen.
I'm a huge like fan of having a campaign and multiplayer. I'm not a really big fan of all of the games that are coming out that are just straight multiplayer, that you only play for the multiplayer, because I like having that campaign, like having that campaign as something to back up. Because what if you don't have friends? Just like Adam said, like, you literally, it's just you're playing against bots. That's why, like, for example, the only game that I like that is strictly multiplayer, so to speak, is League of Legends. Because League of Legends has no campaign, it's all online PvP or against bots. Playing against bots, though, if I'm playing with friends in a group on my team versus the bots, I have fun because we make fun of the bots and it's hilarious. But if I'm just playing by myself, I really, really don't like just playing bots all day long. I can't do that myself because I get bored. But League of Legends, if I'm playing with friends, I could play all day long no matter how frustrated I get. Yeah, we'll take breaks and be like, okay, I have to go get food and something to drink because it's ticked me off. We'll walk away, we'll come back, and we'll start up again. But the games that, when they're sequels that had a obvious campaign and you're going to take it out, like, that takes out part of the experience. That's why I love Smash Brothers so much, is it wasn't just another beat 'em up arcade game.
I
seems
have
like
enough beat 'em ups.
yeah, that's a perfectly legitimate argument as well. Now, I also know, Marky, that you had a topic you wanted to discuss, so I'm gonna give you the driver's seat.
No one ever answered me if it was appropriate, considering I got yelled at last time that I said that everyone was like, no spoilers. So,
We all joke about that, but
Okay.
go
All
ahead and
right.
have at it.
I don't know what this is, so you can roll it out, I guess.
I put in the. Oh, God, does no one read?
I can't read. I never learned how to read.
Quit being illiterate. Yes, Snape killed Dumbledore.
Listen,
Anyway,
you called me illiterate and you said I had no friends.
I didn't say that you had no friends.
You totally did. You said, if you're like Adam and have no friends.
I didn't say that.
It is exact. Everyone who's listening, rewind just a little bit, and you will hear her say that. I know you will.
I'm done. I'm
No,
done.
no. Say your topic. Say your topic. Apparently, she's not going to say her topic now.
Make a rage quit. Way to go, Adam. Okay, Adam, you have a topic, my good sir.
Oh dear Lord, do I have a topic? Do I have a topic? Part of me thinks I have a topic. I have had a big interest lately in regards to video games when it comes to this giant rise in the way esports are coming along. And oh, what?
No, go ahead. I'm going.
You're going with me on this adventure.
Let's go.
That's fair. For people who don't know, I watch a lot of the League of Legends Champion Series for the European and North American servers, and I've been watching some people who stream Dota. I watched Evo when it came up, and I watched some independent, smaller video game stream stuff for fighters. And I notice that as I peek at the viewer counts for all of these streams, that the count just seems to be going up of late. It's really starting to rise a lot more, and I am interested in what comes next for esports. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about, is what comes after you've got League of Legends players who are recognized, after you've got League of Legends players who are recognized as being sport participants. What comes next for your sport? Does it become broadcasting on an actual TV channel? Does it become television advertising? Does it become, expansion of your tournament sizes? Like, what does it become next?
I would say a television channel devoted to like broadcasting esports, but then again, they used to have a channel like that, and now all it shows is cops.
Well, that doesn't even show cops anymore, I don't think. But
That's true.
Well, see, the thing is with that, I give Adam his I give Adam his due for bringing in the TV discussion, because the TV from where they tried to put esports on TV, they tried it once, and that was with a it was a little thing where if you didn't know about it, you really didn't know about it, and then once you knew about it, you were kind of like in, so to speak, with the in crowd.
Yeah, once you knew about it, it was too late.
Whatever. Yeah, it was a little bit too late, because
fair.
Because in 2006 there was a thing on I know I watched from DirecTV on channel 101. It was the Championship Gaming Series. It started out with CGI
I
Invitational.
don't know this. So.
Yes. So this is where I come in on this one. Whee! But it was the Championship Gaming Invitational, and they actually made it to where it was like a huge spectacle, so to speak. They made it to where it was like you had the announcer bringing in people, to where it was like, all right, on this side representing the Carolina Core, it was like Ryan Offbeat Ninja Ward. And then on playing for the Dallas Venom, he's Emmanuel Master Rodriguez, and it made it like a huge thing. But for some reason,
So they
and
made it like wrestling? Is that what I'm getting out of this?
they had fighting games. They had Dead or Alive 4. They had Forza Motorsport
Ugh.
and Project Gotham Racing,
Ugh.
and they had Counter-Strike.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. I think that. Okay. For example, League of Legends, on average, on Twitch alone, on Twitch alone, what I usually see for the LCS is in the realm of between 140 and 200,000 viewers. That's on Twitch alone. Combined with all other places like Azubu or Garena or YouTube, exactly. You could probably be up in the 800,000 to a million range potentially. I don't really know if it's that high. It's probably closer to like 500,000.
I would garner 1 million plus viewers. I mean, League of Legends is a huge thing.
It is, but I'm gonna go the safe bet and say about 500K. Now, here's the thing. I don't think that they have enough. I shouldn't say they don't have enough content. They absolutely do. You have to fill it in. I mean, if you were going to make a channel that's all about esports, you would have to be able to have tournaments, not have a ton of replays of tournaments. You could obviously have some, but not all. And you need to be able to actually just have that content. If they could make content, if they could, for example, pay streamers to put their stream on this channel, some of the bigger streamers, like some of your professional streamers, like, anybody from Curse or TSM or Evil Geniuses or CLG or any of those teams for League of Legends, or any of the teams for Dota, or some of the top tier StarCraft 2 players. You could pay any of them to have blocks of time where they stream and have a good time and get paid for it and bring more stuff to the fore. That, of course, means you'd also have to train them to not do stupid shit on the internet, which has always kind of been a problem.
And see, I think I'm going to have to say that's probably another problem that they would have, is that you have certain things that you can... There's a lot of things you can do a lot freer, so to speak. Online, because I noticed when Adam Sessler went from G4 to Rev3, he's in a lot better, I would say, in a lot better form and a lot better mood.
Because he can actually be himself and tell people that they suck knobs, and it's totally okay.
And compared to TV, you have to have a certain form of professionalism that you
and this is why I don't
follow.
think that League of Legends should actually go to TV, to just completely counter that point. I think that what they should do, if they're going to go to TV, is purely from an advertising standpoint. Throw the Twist of Fate cinematic into a commercial and play it at some point on some major station. Get a few blocks of time where you can put them in there and let people see that awesomeness and be like, oh, hey, this looks kind of cool. What is this? I should go check this out. Especially coinciding with the fact that they just launched the new League of Legends website. Of course, I mean, I don't want to leave out stuff like Dota 2. I mean, this is general esports session. I don't want to leave out stuff like Dota 2 and fighting games and StarCraft 2 and things like that. Even Counter-Strike, Call of Duty,
Halo.
Gears of War, if it manages to make a resurgence at all.
Yeah.
Halo, yes. I think that just all of that stuff is really kind of a big deal, and they could make it a bigger deal if they just put more emphasis on it and got people talking about it.
The only thing I have to say about them potentially making a bigger thing and moving things to TV is if they can put fucking poker on TV for 6-hour blocks of time, they can put MLG events and esports events and various other things involving gaming on bigger, like, general, like, channels that most
ESPN.
people get, and be able to actually have an audience. Like, my mom and dad and various other family members record the World Series of Poker every flipping year and watch it religiously. And it drives me fucking bonkers.
Hey, you know
because
what?
that's all they watch.
Hey, you know what?
And I walk out of the living room like, hey, what are we watching? They're like, poker. And I'm like, I'm out.
The World Series of Poker is totally awesome. I'm just gonna say that. I think it's totally rad because I've always loved poker. But I think that once it's much like the game of poker or hockey or football or basketball or any other game. Once the people that are viewing it learn the rules of the game, they have a better time.
Yeah.
People who watch League of Legends, like my roommate, for example, he comes and looks at it and goes, huh, that's cool, and then leaves. And he understands it reasonably well, but he's also not going to stand here and be like, okay, so what does this do? What does this do? But if it's actually explained, you can, and when you hear the in-depth analysis, for example, of the casters, and why certain moves or certain items are so important, it puts a bit more of a spin on it, where you go, oh wow, so what they just did there actually does really, really mean something. Oh, buying that item instead of that item really gave them an advantage or a disadvantage. And I think that's the biggest barrier for entry, I think, for League of Legends to be on a bigger scale, is that just the people who play it know it, but the people who don't play it don't know it at all.
That and the fact of you have to get the mindset from those people who don't know it and don't play it at all. You
Yeah.
have to get their headset out of their ass from where they're thinking, oh, well, I could just go on the internet and play it. Why the fuck do I want to watch it?
Because
You can
watching
go
people-
on the internet and play flipping poker. You can go outside and play baseball. You can go outside and play hockey. You can go outside and play football.
but
if
here's-
you're going to apply that to a game, then go
I
out and do
know.
everything else and quit watching it on TV.
I can
I know.
apply the same point to all of those things. You know what that point is? Yes, you could go do it yourself, but the point is that you're watching people who do it better than you ever could.
Exactly.
Plus, me watching people play game, there are people I know that don't get why I like watching Let's Plays or watching people play games. It's normally because of the personality and what they bring into it.
Yeah.
And that counts for a lot.
And that's
sure.
another thing, too, when it comes to the whole watching esports. If you've got casters who are just dull and don't know what the f they're talking about, or they know what they're talking about and they only have it to where it's just, oh, yeah, this happened, and then that happened, and then that happened. Oh, yay. It's boring as balls to watch, but when you get people who are like the guys at Riot, when you have your DJ Wheat, when you have those people who are just passionate about the job of doing shoutcasting, you get, like, sucked in to
for
watching
sure.
that stream. Like, oh my god, on the edge of my seat now.
I will say, so I think we're all in agreement that League of Legends just needs to be a big thing, as does the rest of esports.
To be a big
It's really fun to watch. Like, I got to go to the North American Regionals last year at PAX. I'm really looking forward to going to PAX this year to watch it again, because I didn't get to spend as much time after I went to the first event as I would have liked to, because I went near the end instead of being there throughout the day, because I had other stuff going on for what I was at PAX originally for in the first place, that I couldn't be there for everything. Now that PAX is 4 days, unless they're extending the North American regionals to be 4 days long, which means potentially more games and more craziness, then I'm going to actually have time to be at more of the events. But it is impressive what happens. The top floor of the convention center is where they held it at the Washington State Convention Center. And you guys, if you feel the need to know how large that is, go look it up. It was standing room only. The aisles that were supposed to be clear for fire hazards and such were not clear. There was no way. It was packed. The entire convention center has big TVs throughout the entire thing, and they were all broadcasting it because there was no room. they had to tell people to leave and go down a floor to where they had a viewing room set up to watch more of it. It was that big. And like I got lucky and got in soon enough the few times I went up there to sit up front in front of the first row of people on the floor, and was willing to sit on the floor because literally it was huge. It's like nerd football is the nicest way to put it without trying to be offensive at all. It was amazing and I loved it, and everyone gets so into it and it's fun to watch, and just how excited the crowd gets there, and you could hear it throughout the building. It was really cool.
Yeah.
And if anyone ever gets a chance to go to an esports event that's listening, go. You will not regret it, especially if you go to a League of Legends one, because it's just impressive. And they shoot t-shirts out of a Kog'Maw cannon, and it is awesome.
I'm hoping to
Caught two of those bitches. It was awesome.
I'm hoping to get my esports event cherry popped this coming November when MLG comes to Columbus.
Please
So,
don't talk about popping your cherry.
Fingers crossed there.
That's not something I
But,
need to think about with you, buddy.
But when it comes to like because Marky, you just mentioned the noise of it. I remember watching on my Twitter feed, like the people commenting from, it's like, oh, we're sitting here talking about Call of Duty and we can hear the League of Legends crowd bleeding through on our stream because of how loud it is.
It's seriously
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah.
Especially when you get big name teams. Like, I got to watch the CLG and Dignitas game, and I got to watch, I believe it was TSM and CLG. And
Those
it's
are
just,
games.
yeah, they were huge, and it was impressive to just the noise level in there. They actually, the first day that I went, it was so loud that I had ringing in my ears. I went to the Twitch TV and Assassin's Creed 3 after party that night. And the noise in that club, where like the club that it was in Seattle, is known for being the noisiest one in all of Seattle. And I couldn't hear shit because my ears were still ringing from the events that I went to. That's just how loud it was. The next day that I went, I brought actual earplugs and put them in because it just got so loud. That way my ears weren't ringing for the next 12 hours. I also got sat next to someone who was screaming at the top of their lungs every single time. So
Yeah, you're always going to have that guy who's the over-enthusiastic esports watcher.
You mean Eddie?
Well, I'm not overly enthusiastic. I do enjoy watching it, but I'm not going to be, probably screaming at the top of my lungs when I go to watch
Eddie,
League of Legends this
I hope
coming
you
May.
realize I have to make that a meme now, right?
Oh,
I'm gonna
Lord.
get a picture of your screaming face and call it the overly enthusiastic esports watcher.
He walks into
Oh.
it every single time too.
Of course I do. Let's just walk into this trap. Do, 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 do.
It's gonna be fantastic. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Anyway, oh, Adam, do you have something else to say real quick?
No, I was gonna say that we should totally force Marky to tell us what her topic was now.
I was actually getting ready to segue right back into that.
Awesome. I did it for you.
Oh, thank you. So, Marky,
anyway,
your topic.
so I'm going to preface this. So anyone that is listening, if you have not beaten
Spoilers.
BioShock Infinite, spoilers are ahead. So I suggest that you pause this or fast forward slowly and catch it. I will, when we're done talking about this, if this isn't the very end of this, I'll say, and spoilers done. Just saying, because I don't want to screw it up for anyone.
Or there's a button, press it, you'll move on.
Yeah, spoilers.
Unfortunately,
Okay.
it'll probably take you to the spoiler.
So, anyway, so they have announced the first DLC for BioShock. And I was really excited because I didn't even realize that it was part of a DLC. I had seen a cosplay, I had seen this cosplay of what looked like a 20s lounge singer version of Elizabeth.
Yeah.
And it was the ultimate 20s femme fatale kind of look, from the old spy movies, or because it's the only thing that comes to mind when I think about it, and it's not even the 20s, but like in Casablanca, some of the women, how they are styled in that,
No,
like that's
it's
what I
film
thought
noir.
of. Yeah, it's very much,
She is
yeah,
very much
exactly.
a film noir dame.
She is, and
You still have this
it
picture?
was, yeah. If I can, I saw it on Imager earlier, and now I probably won't be able to find it because it was like for flipping ever ago. I
Ooh.
spend way too much time on Imager, but so I'll look for that while I'm talking about this. So it's called Burial at Sea, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be cool. So here comes the spoiler part of it. As most of us know, at the end of BioShock, you come to realize that there are a bunch of alternate realities that are crossing over because of Elizabeth's ability,
Uh-huh.
which means that there's infinite possibilities, hence the name, as to who Booker is and who Elizabeth is and where they are and what their choices in life are and all these other options.
Hmm.
So, Burial at Sea is going to give you a version of Booker and Elizabeth on December 31st, I believe it's 1958. So
Uh-huh.
it is the day, if you look at it, that the uprising starts in Rapture. It is also the day that at the beginning of BioShock 2 that Sophia Lamb breaks out of the I think it's either the asylum or the prison area
Hmm.
and comes after um, Subject Delta and makes him shoot himself in the head in order to get her daughter back.
Yep.
And so what you're coming on is you're coming on to basically this is the beginning of the fall of Rapture. And it's still the same thing when they like the preview of this. And if you guys want to watch it, this is I linked it earlier, but in the event someone hadn't seen it, this is the Forbes article that was on it.
Hmm.
Um, and they actually show, and if you look at his desk, you can see the date, you can see that he's still a gambler, and that obviously the thing is still going to be something about wiping away a debt because that's been the theme throughout the actual main
But
storyline.
Booker is an awesome noir detective.
He is. He is a private investigator rather than an ex-Pinkerton agent. And Elizabeth, he says, she says she knows a way to get me out. And he walks up to her and he's like, "What can I call you?" And all you hear is the same voice that we heard from Elizabeth, just a little bit more of that smoky, sultry sound to it. And she just says, "Elizabeth. My name's Elizabeth." And you see him use, and I'm going to assume, since we're in Rapture in this, that we're back to using plasmids, and he uses incinerate and lights a cigarette for her and reveals this film noir femme fatale version of Elizabeth. And it's literally like just a short little preview of it. And this is episode 1. So I'm assuming that when you buy the season pass, which is what I bought because I knew I'd play the crap out of this game till the end of time, that there's going to be 3 episodes. So it's going to be an entire new storyline following Booker and Elizabeth. So I think this is super cool because I've always loved the BioShock game. I've loved all of them, even BioShock 2, which I know that some of us do not like BioShock 2, period. So I'm just going to leave it at that. But I've loved all of them, and I've loved all the characters. I loved all of the areas that we've been to and that we've seen. I've loved the little things that have done references to Rapture in Infinite, and now that they're combining the two, I really enjoy it. And the fact that they're bringing them together and you're kind of seeing that there's all these different aspects coming together is just so cool. And
Okay.
I'm super stoked about it. Maybe I'm just weird. I don't
No,
know.
I think you're fully allowed to be super stoked about it. I'm gonna take a slightly different tack on that, though. I'm not. Okay, I can't say I'm not excited about it. I will probably play it, but I don't like it. I was perfectly happy to leave Rapture where it was at the end of BioShock 1. I had my time with that world. I learned about it. I enjoyed the hell out of the city of Rapture. and I moved on. BioShock 2 put me back into Rapture, and I was okay with that. I didn't really need it. I had already kind of explored what I wanted to explore with Rapture. I understood what happened, how it rose, how it fell, and I resolved that story. And I didn't mind the cameo of it in BioShock Infinite near the end. But as awesome as it is, and as much as I like the characters of Booker and Elizabeth, I was fully prepared to not go back to Rapture and to go somewhere else. I would rather they invest their time in a new area, not recycling an old location we've already visited now 2 times, technically 3. I'm still probably going to play that BioShock Infinite DLC, but I really just wish that they would go elsewhere with it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm still totally down with it, and you are right to be excited about it. I'm sure you're going to play it like crazy and be like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, this is amazing. And that's totally fine.
Alright, so, Bulba, I'm coming to you now.
Yeah.
Anything topic-wise you want to throw down?
Well, this month, as far as the streams, that's first impressions and the streams on Monday, this month is RPG month.
Bulba, not shameless promotion. I'm talking about story.
Oh, I am. I'm going to ask a question. You can stop
well.
arguing with me before I get to the question.
Damn
You
it,
can argue
Eddie.
with me after the question.
Well, no.
All right, move on.
I had to preface the question. The question is, what is your favorite RPG series?
Oh, wait. Does that be a series or can it be a one-shot?
Let's do series for now, and I'm going to define series as anything, series. Basically, they have at least 3 games.
At least 3. Okay. One sec. Well, wow, that's really hard. I look at my desktop. What do I have installed? Because I've got a lot of.
Wait, I can't think of something. Shit, what do I have installed?
I mean, that's like seriously. That's what I have to look at. Like, what do I have installed on my desktop that I have played a ton of? And my honest answer is probably. See, it doesn't have 3 installments. It only has 2, but it has had several iterations. I'd probably have to say Baldur's Gate. That's probably my favorite RPG series, or that whole run of like Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale and stuff like that. Those were my favorite RPG series.
Okay. Marky?
I don't really care what genre games are because I kind of put myself in the character's role, so all of them are RPGs to me, so you don't want my answer. That's all I'm saying. I see every game as an RPG because I see all of them as a story. And since I was a kid, I have, with reading books, playing games, I've put myself as the main character every time.
I'll say this, Marky. Knowing what I know about the games that you've played, I'd say I would suggest perhaps for you, if we're going by one that's actually an RPG, for you it might be Fable.
Probably.
Because I know you really like Fable.
I really like Fable, and I love Fallout. Like, I guess those are technically RPG enough that those would have to be my 2 favorites, but, like, it's hard for me to say a favorite because I put myself in that main character's perspective and as that main character in every single game I play, every single book I've read. Like, I'm weird. So that's just how I function. So everything is kind of an RPG to me in my mindset. So, yeah, Adam knowing me and knowing the classifications and the actual where the lines are drawn, I'd have to go with Fable and Fallout then.
Okay. So, well, I'm going to come to you first.
Oh, man. believe it or not, even though I asked the question, there are a lot of good RPGs out there, and it really is tough for me. Personally, I would love to say the Shining series, just because I love Shining Force. But the thing is, I haven't really played a lot of the newer games, like the newest Sega games. I know it's more of a low tier franchise. So I'm not sure whether I could really say that's my favorite or not. I do get a lot of play out of it, though. Wow. I'm just thinking about all the different. Think I would have to pick it. Probably would be more of like it, since it's like a sub series within the series. It'd be like the Shining Force series. If I was going to go probably more of another series, I would say that this one is kind of cheating. But technically, it has had 3 games, even though they now say that the second game is a side story, and that is the Chrono series. Because you had Chrono Trigger, you had Radical Dreamers, which they now say is an alternate history. They don't really acknowledge that is technically a game in the series, and then you have Chrono Cross. All the games I played in the series are wonderful. They're great games. So if I did not pick Shining Force, I would definitely be picking the Chrono series.
I love you for that, Bulba, because Chrono Trigger is fucking awesome.
Time to break everyone's brains. Never played them.
No, I know you haven't, and you're going to watch at least.
I'm announcing that to all of our viewers, and they will probably rage, but that's okay.
At the very least, you're going to watch me play it.
All right, so
I have a feeling what Eddie's answer is going to be, but lay it on us, Eddie.
I'm drawn between 2
Okay.
because I love playing Fire Emblem. I love playing all of the games that have come out over here, and then the one I was able to get a English patch for. But up until number 10, I typically enjoyed Final Fantasy. So
okay, that's solid.
yeah, after 10, I just kind of sort of fell off with it, because it's like, oh, we're making 13, and then we're making 13-2, and then we're making 13-3, and it's like, will you fucking stop?
And then we're making Final Fantasy 13 and Go Fuck Yourselves edition.
Yeah. And then it's like they changed versus 15 into Final Fantasy 15, which,
that's a whole other topic that I could do like an hour of debate on.
Yeah, which, I mean, it's tit for tat essentially.
Yeah,
but,
pretty much.
If I'm gonna pick a specific RPG, I'm definitely gonna go with Final Fantasy VI, because I could play that game countless times, and I've played it countless times. And to put it like a second one in that little thing, Final Fantasy Tactics. The one for the PS1, not for the freaking Game Boy Advance or the Nintendo DS, because both of those just no.
And this is why I just asked for series and not actual favorite RPGs.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. For me, I've got a lot of topics buzzing in my head, but it's like I would rather write about them. That way, it gets it to where it drives content to the Unreal Arcade website.
So he's making the plug now.
He's allowed to plug, but I can't plug whatsoever. I see how it is.
No, I was just plugging the site. But now, if you want to plug your RPG,
hey, those streams are part of the site. You go to the Unreal Arcade Twitch account.
Hey guys, I'm just gonna throw it out there. Unreal-arcade.com. Go there, read some reviews, enjoy some stuff, join the community. It's totally awesome.
Enjoy the user manuals that are normal recording guide. Genzaki records. He's going to make sure you don't make crappy purchase decisions.
And go read my review on the amazing game Gunpoint, and Marky's review on the awesomeness that is the Walking Dead 400 Days DLC. Haha!
That is, for the most part, spoiler free, as long as you don't look at the last picture.
And congratulations on that part. And the final one is only mildly spoilerish.
Yeah. And go check out, of course, the Unreal Arcade YouTube page. I'm doing a Let's Play of Secret of Mana with Eddie Phoenix here.
And
also,
of course, bite me.
That too, yeah.
and you can also go watch our streaming stuff on twitchtv.com/Unreal Arcade, where we stream all sorts of stuff like Dota and League of Legends and various other things, because we really don't have a set stream schedule. There you go, Darksiders 2. There you go.
And now, Marky, dance us out.
I can't dance, though. I'm a white kid. It don't work. Almost be
Adam will
dancing.
dance you out. I'll dance you out with the song of my people.
Dance, magic, dance.
Dance, magic.